Hey, this is Julian with the Germinal Group. Today we're going to be sitting here with Ron from Supreme Lending, and we're going to be going over a few questions about how to navigate purchasing a condo and also selling a condo in Florida.
Hey, thanks for having me, Julian. I really appreciate
Absolutely.
it, and I look forward to some of those questions you have for me. But I'd say that just one of the things is I guess we'll just discuss as far as the difference between like a single-family home and a condo, and we'll kind of go into that, and hopefully we can maybe make some progress.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so we're going to jump right into this. So, Ron, the first question I have is, what is the difference between a condo and a single family home when it comes to financing?
Yeah, it's a good question because there's a lot of misconception out there as far as even with first-time buyers and whatnot. You know, a lot of times the condos may be a little bit less in price, but a lot of times there's a lot more involved with purchasing a condo versus a single-family home. Just real quick, I'll just answer that is you really don't have to get approved by an association when you're purchasing a single-family home versus a condo. There's an association. There's a lot of different things that the lenders need on that condo because the fact is we need to determine how much that person will need to put down on that condo itself. So, you know, that's the biggest thing as far as down payment and getting a lot of documentation up front on that
Okay.
condo.
Well, thank you for that, Ron. So now it leads me to my second question is, what do you recommend an agent do when they're taking a listing for a condo to help ease the transaction for the buyers?
Yeah, that's a good one. I would say definitely. I talked to quite a few of my agents as well. When you're taking a listing on a condo, there's two documents you want to get up front right away, and the biggest one is getting the master insurance, a copy of that, and the current budget on that complex. And once you have that, so go ahead and send it over to me. I can go ahead and forward that then right to my condo desk. They can review it to see if we can even entertain a full review, which will lead us to a 95% financing or 90% financing, or we'll have to do a limited review, which means that the client will have to put 25% down. So the biggest thing is on the insurance, they have to have 100% replacement costs. If they're 90, 95%, got to go. It may not even be insurable, may not be able to do financing on it. So it just depends on the type of insurance they're carrying. The second thing is if they do have the 10% or more in reserves, now we can go ahead and proceed with doing a limited review, a full review, which they'll allow them to put 95 or 90% down, you know, as far
Okay.
as limited.
All right. So I just want to kind of clarify everything. So for the people listening, so the difference between a limited review and a full review is going to be
A full review is allowing the individual to put at least 5% down or 10% down. Okay. If that entails about 71 questions on a condo questionnaire that we have to send over to the management company, and we have to gather about 11 different documents. You're talking like the master insurance, the master appraisal, the survey, the condo questionnaire, the condo docs. There's a lot of different things that go into play in getting a full review done for that person to go limited, minimum money down. On a limited review, which is 25% or more down on a primary residence, that's probably about 26 questions, and we only need maybe 4 or 5 documents.
Okay.
And so it's a lot easier, but not everybody has the 25% down to put on a condo.
Okay. So if you're looking to place less than the 25%, you're going to need a full review, it sounds like.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that, Ron. So then my next question would be, so is there a difference on a primary residence versus a second home or investment property for like a limited review?
Yes, there is. On a primary residence, on a limited review, you have to put at least 25% down. On a second home or an investment property, it's 30% down.
Okay.
So you can do a full review on those, but again, it's going to be, you're going to have to get all the condo information as far as the condo docs and everything we discussed before. So it's a lot more entailed. But yeah, it's 30% down on investment in a second home.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ron. All right, Ron. So now leading up to this question, how do you know if a condo is approved or rejected?
There's 2 ways you can find out. Obviously, Fannie and Freddie Mac have an approved or actually a rejected list and an approved list that they send out. A lot of times they can't find it, but we as a lender are able to find it and go onto their actual site, and we'll get sent to us a rejected condo list. And honestly, they like to send out more of the rejected ones, because the ones that are approved, it can change weekly. So there is a website, and I can send that to you as well, and you can post that. But there is an approved site that you can go to see which are actually approved in Florida and which are denied and which are rejected for some reason, as far as not having enough coverage. There's litigation. There's lawsuits that are handled that, or they just don't have any. They're operating as a loss. So there's a lot of different things that are going to play in that.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate that, Ron. All right, Ron. So this is my last question I have for you. So this is going to be a scenario, right? So let's say we get our client approved to purchase a condo, and I, as an agent, I want to market that to be able to find different buyers to come and buy more condos.
Sure.
How would you be able to help me do that?
Well, especially, that's great, because I've done it before in the past with some other agents as well. What it is if we can get a condo approved at 95% financing, yeah, by all means, you want to market that, and obviously it's going to help both of us, because the fact is, what I'll do is I'll send the information that we have on that condo already, and then I'll have some photos, we can get them offline or whatnot, and we'll go ahead and I'll send it up to my marketing department. With that, they're going to go ahead and create a flyer, personalized flyer that's going to have your information on it that you can attach to your social media. We can also attach it to a link, however you would like to choose to do that. But then that'll allow you to do is go in there and farm that development, so you can more or less go in there and try to entertain, some sellers that were maybe on the fence that say, hey, listen, someone doesn't have to come in and pay, 25, 30, 40% down. We actually have someone that you can market with 95% financing. Ask me how. And we can do something like that. So we're definitely there. But I'll tell you one thing with the condo, our condo desk that we have that approves these and rejects these condos, they can go ahead with little documentation just to go ahead and let us know that we can go ahead and pursue and move forward with that condo complex, because of the fact is we have so much information, and they've been doing this for so long. So yes, a lot of agents are scared of condos, but one of the things that'll lead me to this, it's a different part, because some of you may have already heard that, as the 4 stories and up on some of these older condos are 25 and 30 years old, there's a big structural engineering report they're required to get by the end of the year. And honestly, it's unfortunate, but if you look at now, there's almost 8,000 high-rise condos in Miami for sale that they're just basically trying to give away because their assessments are over $200,000, $300,000. Because what's happening is these older buildings have to get a structural engineering report at the end of the year, and whatever inspection needs to be done, they have to get that work done, and they just don't have the money to do it. So some of the high rises, even in here in Sarasota, Bradenton, Manatee County, we're going to see some of those older condos. There'll be a lot more listings available.
Wow. Okay. So is there who exactly has to pay that assessment? Is it the buyer or is it the seller? It doesn't
Typically,
matter.
from my understanding, they won't let the buyer pay it. It has to be the seller has to pay it before they can do it, because it's almost like a lien pushing against that house. So when they go to sell, some of these people live there for a long time, they're retired and their condo's paid for, they get hit with a $250,000 assessment. They're going to have to take that out of the equity when they go to sell it. But now on the flip side is, you got a new owner that's going to go in there. If that's not enough, they're going to get hit with some type of special assessment too, if they do run out of funds and they find that there's more damage there, or you take the risk of they have to condemn that whole building. So it's happening, and it all started years ago when that one building collapsed in Miami.
Yeah, no, a very unfortunate situation, man.
It's the weather we're in, the salt and rebarb and all that.
Yeah. All right, Ron. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit and answer some of these questions, man. Do you have anything else that you'd want to share with us before?
No, if there's anything I can do to help you, you can reach me 24/7. I work your hours, and again, I've been doing this for over 28 years, and look forward to working with you and your clients.
All right, Ron. Well, you heard her well, man. So thank you very much for tuning in, and until next time, Ron.
Thank you.
All right.